It's back to Carrow Road for Norwich City this weekend, looking for a third win on the spin for the first time since the latter stages of the 2018-19 season, when they of course won the title. Newly promoted Wycombe coming to Norfolk this weekend, who have had a difficult start to the season. Now we're speaking ahead of Friday's press conference, so we don't know any of the fresh injury news yet, but you'd be surprised to see Daniel Farke changing a winning team if there aren't any fresh injuries to worry about. They played so well against Birmingham. Lucas Rupp named in the Championship team of midweek. Marcus Stiepermann did miss that through illness, so he could potentially come back into contention. You would have thought he would take the place on the bench ahead of Josh Martin if he is okay, although Timo Pukki did have a bit of cramp towards the end of that win against Birmingham, so there is that to think about. Out of possession, it's a 4-2-3-1, but on Tuesday we saw with Cantwell and Buendia back in the team, it was more of a 4-2-2-2 in possession, both of them coming central and narrow quite often, and the width really being provided by Kintia and Aarons as the fullback, trying to serve up some crosses for Jordan Hugill. And Wycombe, this is where we have to insert the banana skin and the wet floor sign warning, because they have lost all 6 of their games since promotion. They've only scored 1 and they conceded 13. So a big banana skin for Norwich to worry about here as a team just down from the Premier League. You know that they're going to turn up fighting and scrapping. Gareth Ainsworth was the longest serving manager in the EFL before Harrogate were promoted, which means Simon Weaver is technically now the longest serving EFL boss. That was their first promotion last year to the second tier of English football. They only were promoted to the Football League for the first time in the early 90s, and promotion wasn't smooth either. When the season was suspended in March, they were actually 8th, but when the table was settled on points per game, they jumped up to 3rd because they had a game in hand. They then beat Fleetwood and Oxford in the playoffs to get promotion, but they have found it tough going so far. Tuesday night, though, they went to Reading, who are the early leaders in the Championship table, and they only lost 1-0. They really put in a better performance. They worked really hard. They restricted Reading to only 1 shot on target. So it will be interesting to see if they can carry on in that kind of spirit when they get to Carrow Road. And the key man for Wycombe, well, it depends whether he plays, but of course they have beast mode Adebayo Akinfenwa, weighs in at about 16 stone, widely regarded as the strongest player in world football. He missed the start of the season due to injury, but he's come off the bench in the last 2 games, and Gareth Ainsworth seems to have suggested that he could be close to a start soon. Now, we saw that he can really be a nuisance. He's so unorthodox. If you remember the League Cup game at Wycombe in 2018-19, Norwich won 4-3 there in the 3rd round. Akinfenwa came off the bench for the last 20 minutes or so, and he really roughed up Ben Godfrey. He scored a goal, a real scrambled goal, and the latter stages of that, it should have been smooth for Norwich, but it wasn't. Once he came onto the pitch, he's become a bit of a celebrity, hasn't he? He did score 10 goals last year. He's 38 now, and he has got that 7 assists as well last season, and he has got over 200 career goals in the Football League. So if he is on the pitch, Grant Hanley and Ben Gibson are really going to have to pay attention to that unorthodox threat, because he's not easy to get around because he's just such a big unit. But otherwise, Anthony Stewart was voted Player of the Season last year. He was an ever-present at centre-back during that promotion-winning season. And Joe Jacobson is one to watch as well. Plays at left-back, but got 12 goals last season, was their top scorer. He was voted Player of the Season by the Wycombe fans, and has got a real set-piece threat on him.